Before the flash of cameras, before the crowds filled the arenas, there was a man who refused to fight just for money or fame. He fought for something invisible: respect. His name was Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight champion of the world. A man who faced more than punches. He faced an entire system built to keep him down. At the turn of the 20th century, America was split by invisible walls of race, power, and pride. Boxing, like the rest of society, was ruled by those walls. Black fighters could compete, but only among themselves. The heavyweight title, the symbol of ultimate strength, was reserved for white men only. But Jack Johnson didn't see walls. He saw opponents, and he decided to break every rule that said he couldn't win. Born in 1878 in Galveston, Texas, Johnson grew up in the shadow of slavery. But his laughter, his confidence, and his brilliance couldn't be chained. He started fighting in small clubs and on dusty back streets, where crowds gathered around makeshift rings and bet on who would fall first. Johnson rarely did. He had a different rhythm. He didn't rush, didn't panic, and didn't fight with hate. He smiled in the ring, dodged punches with grace, and talked to his opponents while dismantling them piece by piece. It wasn't just boxing. It was control. Mental, physical, psychological. He fought as if fear didn't exist. In 1908, the unthinkable happened. Johnson challenged the reigning white champion, Tommy Burns, in Sydney, Australia. It wasn't just a fight. It was a question. Can a black man be the best in the world? For 14 rounds, Johnson humiliated Burns, smiling, taunting, showing the world a level of skill and confidence never seen before. When the referee finally stopped the fight, a new era began, and the old world started to crack. Jack Johnson was now the heavyweight champion of the world. But instead of celebration, there was outrage. Newspapers called him arrogant. Politicians called him dangerous. The country called for what they named the Great White Hope, a white man who could take the title back. They found him in Jim Jeffries, a retired champion pulled back into the ring not for glory, but for revenge. The fight was set for July 4th, 1910. More than 20,000 people packed into Reno Arena, and millions waited for the result. Because this wasn't just a boxing match. It was America, staring itself in the mirror. Under the scorching desert sun, Johnson turned the fight into a masterpiece. He didn't rush. He didn't roar. He laughed, played, and controlled every second. When Jeffries finally collapsed, the myth of white superiority in the ring collapsed with him. The world had to face a truth it wasn't ready to hear. The best fighter alive was a black man, and he was proud of it. But pride came at a price. After his victory, race riots erupted across America. Dozens of people were killed. Johnson became public enemy number one. Not because he broke the rules of boxing, but because he broke the rules of society. The government couldn't beat him in the ring, so they found another way. They charged him under the Mann Act, a vague morality law meant to punish him for traveling with a white woman, his girlfriend. He was convicted and forced to flee the country. For 7 long years, Johnson lived as an exile, fighting in Europe, South America, even Mexico. Anywhere the bell would still ring. He aged, he slowed, but he never bent. And when he finally returned to the United States, he did it knowing he would serve his sentence, but also knowing his name could never be erased. He kept fighting into his 60s, driving fast cars, laughing loud, and living free, even when the world told him not to. In 1946, after being refused service at a diner because of his color, Jack Johnson got into his car and sped away in anger. Moments later, he crashed and died. Even his death felt symbolic. A man too fast, too bold, too unwilling to slow down for injustice. Jack Johnson was more than a boxer. He was a rebellion with gloves on. He taught the world that courage isn't quiet. It's loud, it's bright, and it demands to be seen. He once said, "I'm Jack Johnson, heavyweight champion of the world. I'm black, and they'll never let me forget it. But I'll never let them forget it either." He didn't just fight history, he changed it. Welcome to Clean Boxing.